Hey, just a second. I got to clear out some drum noise. Everything's like I say, it's always stuff really going here. So
I'm just gonna assume this is working.
All right, it's definitely working. Let me just get this to. Yeah, so this is going live right now. We're gonna be up in 2 seconds. Sorry, I just have to why is it a group? I'm gonna get to pages. Yeah, there's so much stuff that you would assume this would do automatically. So I'm gonna be calling some people, I think. Well, we'll see. We shall see. Oh yeah, thank you guys for everybody who showed up early. Thank you. I'm going to let people know. Let's see who I can get on here. Yeah, I got a band, as usual, there's a band practicing over there. So, that's how this goes, but that's good. That means the real stuff is actually happening here, and that's what's going on. This is real world stuff, we got bands in there. We got, Jack has been recording a lot lately, which is really awesome. Yeah, real stuff's happening, so that's what this place is about. Okay, so that's about enough. I may be calling you. Oh, good, awesome. Okay, I guess this is going, so welcome to Dropping In at Pipeline Audio. This is episode number 93, and I've called it How Not to Run Tech Support, and just like that, I'm going to be a meathead, and I'm going to try the new Messenger app. Speaking of which, there's a new Messenger app, and you can pick audio input and output, allegedly. So it's about 1 million o'clock on the mainland right now. It's like 4:30 in the afternoon in Hawaii here. And man, I have been trying to get Jim Roseberry on my show since episode 1, I think. So you know what? I'm going to try to do an audio call over Messenger. He's probably going to kill me, but hopefully I don't blow everything. So let me just ring him. Let's see what happens and see if we don't get in some real trouble. If you guys don't know who this is the guru of DAW building out here, and I'm not sure what time it is where he's at. It might be like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. Oh, I hope it's not 10 o'clock. If it's 9 o'clock, it's Friday. Oh no, it's Saturday night. Oh man, I'm just cold calling people, man. So let's. Okay, I'm gonna leave him alone. Let's see who else we can get here. Sorry, Jim. Let's see what Tommy Gibbons is up to. Let's try an audio call with Tommy here. Tommy just had some stuff climbing up the charts here, so let's see if he. No answer. Ah, man, nobody wants to talk to me. Let's try Phil. What time is it? It's East Coast. What time is it in East Coast? Like 10 o'clock? I just keep calling people. Man, if I did this earlier, I could have called like Ethan Weiner and all those guys. There's a ton of people I want to talk to. Speaking of which, what time is it in Australia right now? It'd be really cool to get Vin on the phone, but he may not like that. People may not like just being called live and talked to. Look at me, man. I'm calling everybody in the wrong time. Boo. Yeah, this is 3 fails for 3. What a bummer. Is there anybody else? Well, we'll see if they call me back. How about that? Wouldn't that be cool? There's so many people I'd love to get on here. Ethan Weiner's kind of been the James Randi of audio to me. I'd love to talk to Jim Roseberry. I'm sure you guys want to hear from him about interfaces and new computers and stuff. Vin Carigliano, I think is his name, from Dawbench. I'd like to talk to him. But that's all I really got right now. Oh my God. I could get in real trouble here. So let's, that's just my modus operandi, right? So let me try one more person here and just see, what time is it? Let's see what time. What time is it in Canada? What does he say? He lives in Windsor. Time in Windsor, Toronto. It is 9:30 at night. Let's see. Am I gonna get in trouble? Let's just see what happens. Oh man, I could be in so much trouble. We'll see. I'm really gonna get beat up for this one, and this is just so unprofessional. But you know what? We live in the music world. He's probably awake, right? That sounds like. Did he answer? Hey, you there?
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn. Sorry, I was supposed to be calling people live for my show tonight, and nobody answered. So I just called you. You're live on the air, so you don't have to be on here. But I was just calling you up because I could call you.
Okay.
I'm
actually playing CS:GO with some of my Discord guys right now. So.
Wait, you're playing CS:GO and not PlanetSide? What's wrong with you? Blasphemy! Blasphemy!
I've played PlanetSide in about a decade, so I'm probably overdue to try that.
Man. Yeah, it's so cool now.
The only reason I'm playing CSGO is because it's easy. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just set it up and away you go. You know what I mean? I would definitely be into checking out PlanetSide at some point. But seriously, I better get back to my game.
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
Right,
awesome to have you on my show for 2 seconds, though. All right. I got to do this
awesome.
again.
Thanks for calling, man.
All right.
Take care.
Bye. All right. How about that, man? I had Glenn Fricker on the show for 2 seconds. That's something, huh? For you guys, anybody out there watching? Yeah, well, that was cool. Okay, so I'm going to stop trying to cold call people, but I had Glenn Fricker on the show. I bet you could have Alex on again, huh? So, okay, getting back to this. I see you guys burning crazy money on boutique basement pedals. Like, there's every time I turn around, there's either an ad on Facebook or another YouTube channel where it's some guy. He's got some pedals. Usually it's a Tube Screamer 808 clone, whatever you call those things, Ibanez Tube Screamer. Usually it's yet another version of the Ibanez Tube Screamer that they built at home, and this one's gonna be so much better than all the other ones. And so it's like $800 for the same pedal that we used to get for like $50 back in the day. And I don't know, it just feels like spam. But yeah, I found this page, Cheaper Pedals. I don't want to get, we'll read what we can, but it's cheaperpedals.com. I'm not really sure what these guys do. I kind of have an idea. Let's just take a look at their products. Okay. So it looks like they sell other people's pedals, Joyo pedals. We've had good luck with Joyo. Remember, Joyo was the company that I bought the battery from that powered the wireless battery-powered Behringer FCB 1010. And so that's actually a pretty cool company. They make a bunch of amps. I think Glenn's had some of their amps on his show. Look, see, they got more. They got a bunch of cheap stuff. But anyway, on their page, they said like 10 reasons boutique pedals are overrated. And I really like this because he starts out with, excuse me if I'm going to offend you. And he probably is. And excuse me if I'm going to offend you. I'll say the same thing. You may be somebody who really likes boutique pedals, but then you probably wouldn't be on cheaperpedals.com. I actually like some of them too, which I do too. I just spent too much money on boutique pedals that were not worth it. Started to question all the hype and trust my own ears and judgment. And they got a picture of like this $400 pedal. There's another distortion pedal. So he says, a couple different things. Where's the value? Off the bat, boutique pedals are ridiculously expensive. The money you use to buy one can get you an excellent beginner guitar. That's true. But, remember we had a show not too long ago where the Dean Vendettas, they're kind of hard to get now. So the really good $100 guitar is probably gone. But, sorry. But there's still good ones out there for cheap. 2 of them will buy you an amp. That's true, too. 3 of them will buy you a professional-grade electric guitar. That's true. If someone on the street asked you to pay a couple $100 for a small painted metal box with a bunch of transistors inside, you'd give them a funny look and walk a bit faster. That's true. But then again, we're in an industry where people pay $5 bajillion for mic preamps. So, I'll take it for what it's worth. Number 2, low-tech, high prices. Manufacturing and technology have made staggering leaps in the last half century. Today we're able to fit a phone, computer, music player, and camera inside a small handheld device and walk around with it and interact with people all over the world using it. But have pedals advanced since the 1960s? No. We're still paying the same amount of money for a new iPhone as we are for a 50-year-old piece of technology. A cake-sized piece of metal and knobs with a circuit board powered by a 9-volt battery. Lack of innovation. Really? Okay, so he says the same word. How many boutique pedal brands out there are truly innovating? Does the world really need another Tube Screamer mod? Or do we need another fancy $200 boost pedal whose only job it is to lift your signal? The truth is the majority of boutique pedal makers are regurgitating the same kind of guitar effects that have been around for 50 years. The truth is there are only a few boutique manufacturers pushing the boundaries of what pedals can do. And this is the thing, but to be honest, that's the reason sometimes people actually buy these things is because they want the same old thing, But how many? We're not going to get back into all the actually testing your claims and stuff, but we do know that you can get the circuit. You can make the circuit. There's nothing magical about these circuits. You can, just because it has certain brand of transistor in it, it's not going to make it some kind of magical thing. So, yeah. Marketing machinations. Yeah, tons of marketing nonsense. Let's take the old designs, copy them, mod it, give it a really cool paint job, call it boutique, and charge an extra $100 for it. Can you imagine this happening in any other industry like cars or PCs? Scarcity. When an item is scarce, blah, blah, blah. Vintage gear is more expensive because it's scarce. But on the other hand, you can just make these pedals all day long. Gear snobbery. What do we call it? Cork sniffers. Snobs are everywhere. We probably all know people who are wine snobs, art snobs, music snobs, and of course, gear snobs. And give a gear snob the best pedal ever made, and it would still be a gear snob. Is it the music that matters, or is it the gear? Expensive does not mean good. Yeah, let's be unique. Okay, boutique. The real part that kills me though is that all these pedals, I know, yes, your pedal is so magical that it can't be duplicated in DSP. But really, right now, for the price of a couple of these pedals, to go buy a Line 6 Pod Go. And listen, you guys have known, even on this show, how many times I have torn apart Line 6. Especially when they purposely cripple their stuff. When they already have something that works and then they actually make it not work. The main thing being the 2-path thing, one path for a guitar amp that doesn't have a speaker simulator on it, and one path for the PA system or the recording system or whatever that does need a speaker simulator. And that new Line 6 Pod Go, it's like $500 list, I think. Remember it was on our Vaporware watch for a little while? Let's see what these things are really selling for. Pod Go. Okay, list street price. Street price. Guitar Center $450. Sweetwater $450. Okay, so that's what these things are going for allegedly, unless they're out of stock and some scalper's selling them. but they're like $450. I'm sorry. I have the crappy version of it called the Firehawk, and even that is pretty good. If you had a little bit more choice on where you could put what processors and stuff, man, it's got the harmonizer, it's got everything. It's the Firehawk has some serious problems, but I don't think that's going to be the problem with the Line 6 Go. One guy that comes here, Native Blue, their band, Kapu Cobb's band, has one, and he uses the harmonizer on it and everything, and he plays a more subtle thing, and it still sounds awesome. It's like a baby Helix, and I'm not advertising for Line 6. I've had my knockdown and dragouts with those guys, but compared to buying some crappy pedal that's got like one setting, you can turn it on or off, just get the freaking Line 6 Go, and I guarantee your pedal's in there, or if it's not, something pretty close is in there. So, buy a bunch of pedals to take up a bunch of space, and they're always going bad, and you gotta plug them in and keep 9 volts on them and all this crap. Or you just want to buy one device, plug into it, be able to just press one button and completely change everything about your sound. Just go buy that. Something like that. Maybe you got a Helix, maybe you got a Axe Effects or something, or maybe you want to run a big ass Bradshaw board or whatever. But, paying $400 for the same tube screamer you could get for $50, not a good idea. And if you're going to have 10 different settings, forget it. Just go buy a little pedal board that handles all that stuff. Next thing, and the reason I was calling Jim Roseberry, man, I wish I could have called him earlier. Reason I want to talk to Jim was we're getting some computer parts, and in fact, let me see if I can pull up what I ended up buying. So let's go look at System Builder. So this is what I ended up with. Intel i7 10700K. It says it's an 8-core processor. Because right now I have 2 laptops that are more powerful than the studio computer that I'm broadcasting this from right now. And it was getting to the point where I was working on mixes at home, and I couldn't actually run them on my studio computer, which is ridiculous. So it's time for an upgrade, and this is where we're going. So first of all, it's the Intel. And it's funny if you can see, if you're watching the video, I'm actually ordering the CPU from B&H. You guys might know B&H from ordering pro audio gear from them for years. It's really weird to see them selling this computer stuff, but anything that can help their shop out. They've always been just an excellent shop. They've always been really good with customer service to me. They've always been really quick about shipping things out. They've just been a great shop. So if I can buy computer parts from them, great, man. So anyway, I got the Intel i7 10700K. I don't know how you say it, 10700K. Because my the one I just got, the laptop, was like an MSI Raider, and it had a, let's see, what is it? G75. So this one has a i7 10750H. It actually looks like it's a slightly higher number, but I think it's a lesser CPU. But I mean, this one cooks. And so I think I heard from Vin Carigliano. I hope I'm saying that right. The DawBench guy. I mean, if you guys know DawBench, that's where you look. That he doesn't really like the AMDs yet. And I see people doing fine with the AMDs, the Ryzens. And you can get really good fast ones for pretty cheap. I think it's cheaper than the Intels. But I think that what he was saying, and if I got this wrong, I'm really sorry. But it seems like the single core speed is still, the Intels are going to be a little bit better for the single core stuff. What you're doing with your DAW, especially, okay, let me start over. I'm doing a lot of recording entire bands at low enough latency that they can hear themselves and play, through the headphones or whatever, like for the singer and everything. at the same time that I'm broadcasting it out on OBS or whatever to you guys. And so that means pretty low latency, and I need a lot of single core speed because that's what seems to matter for that kind of activity. And I think these guys were saying that the Intels are still better at that. And because I got a lot of crap about the AMDs. I really actually had a hard time picking this, which is weird because, okay, first of all, it's come so far that pretty much any computer you're running nowadays, if you got a computer made in the last 5 years and it's an i5 or an i7, you're probably cooking. You're probably running way faster than stuff that I've mixed, hundreds of albums on. And so it's really not that important to be that picky, I don't think. But then again, we used to have all these gurus running around that, really got the bleeding edge. Because back in the day, it wasn't about the bleeding edge. It was whether or not you could even record 8 tracks at a time. You needed to talk to these guys who were experts, but they weren't really around so much anymore. Just a few of the key players, like I said, Jim Roseberry and Vin. On the Reaper forum, we kind of had a back and forth. The guys had recommended some stuff, but they actually came up pretty close to what I heard from Jim about. So anyway, that was the Intel that I picked. For a CPU cooler, there were a lot of people recommending liquid coolers now, and Cooler Master actually had one that didn't look too hard to use. I wasn't too sure about it, so I'm going with the traditional air cooler. But man, these things are gigantic. Have you seen just how big the CPU coolers are now? I mean, they are absolutely giant. I ended up going with a Noctua, I think it's called, Noctua NH-U14S 82.52 CFM CPU cooler. Hey, Scott Veenstra. Hey. Back in the days, you had to deal with all kinds of system bottlenecks. Yeah. I mean, back in the day, it was crazy. And I'm doing the unthinkable right now. I'm running a USB audio interface with 32 channels of input and output at really low latencies. And that's I'm running the RME Digiface USB. So it's got 4 ADAT ports. But back in the in the other room, actually where these computer parts are going to end up is going to be running at least one, maybe a pair of Motu 2408 Mark II from 1998. They've got a newer PCI card that runs them, the 424 card, but the last drivers for that were in 2015. So scary times are coming. But anyways, there were a couple different CPU coolers that people were recommending. I think Jim specifically recommended this one, so that's why I'm getting it. Actually, yeah, you guys, I might need some help doing the thermal paste on the top of it. I may not, I don't know what I'm doing, but I could watch some YouTube videos or whatever. But if you can recommend a way to do that, I'll do it. I saw so many totally conflicting advices on how to do it, so I'm a little bit scared. For my motherboard, I got an Asus Prime Z490-P. There was a ton of them. I don't know what the difference of any of these things are. Really, it was really confusing. In fact, it told me that I could only use 2933 memory, or that's the type of memory that's supposed to come on here. But Jim told me to get the 3200, and I guess I set something in the motherboard to let it use the memory. He said don't overclock memory. Had a bunch of people telling me to overclock the memory. Then I think he said to run the CPU at 5.1, but it says a 3.8 gigahertz CPU. I don't know what I'm doing. After I install this stuff, we'll figure it out. In fact, that's another thing I'm a little bit scared of is running Windows. I don't really want to do a new Windows install. I like what I have on my stuff. I don't really want to reinstall everything, but if I have to, I will. It reminds me. I got to get my serial before I pull this off. I guess I could just reinstall everything. I'm kind of terrified to do that, but maybe that's a better idea. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Reinstall, because the last thing that I'm getting here is a Samsung Evo 500 gigabyte M.2 2280 NVMe SSD. So my system's going to run on SSD. My two laptops now are running on SSDs. One, I think, is on the older type of SSD, and the new one's on this M.2 or whatever. It goes so fast. Like this computer I'm talking to you on, I think it's about 7 minutes to boot it up. Whereas the my laptops are on. Like within 30 seconds, they're up and running. I mean, fully running. And man, I love that. And so I think I just got spoiled or whatever. But that's what's going on there. There's going to be an SSD, and the memory. I was just gonna. A lot of people were recommending Crucial Vengeance, but I'll always go with Jim's recommendations. And I think he told me to get these G.Skill Lockjaw Ripjaw V series, and I'm getting 16 gigs for now. I guess I could have gotten more, but I've never really run out of memory as far as I know. And so I guess I think there's more slots on the board. I could always order more. Maybe I should have ordered more, but I don't know. Everything else is running 16 gigs and it's running just fine. So that's what the system's going to be. Man, it's still a pretty penny, but it's just time. This computer is getting slow, and then I'm going to be putting these parts onto the big room computer. And hopefully that'll run that a lot faster. But I'm telling you, man, like I am blown away by just how big these CPU coolers are. Let me see if this shows an actual picture. Like when it's on the motherboard. Let's see. i7 CPU cooler. Let me get some images where it's actually put on here. Like when these things are on the motherboard, I mean they're gigantic. It looks like a motor on a car. And so here's a good picture. So I was looking at this thing, like, look at the size of this thing. It's not even going to fit in the case, right? And so I opened up my case, the last one I got from Jim Roseberry, I think it was the Studio Cat Platinum. Oh man, this thing was gigantic. So, I already have a gigantic one, so it's going to work. It should work. Hopefully my power supply works too. I didn't even think about that. We'll see. Hopefully there's not much more I have to buy, but man, I can't wait to get this thing going. I think this is going to be a much better, much smoother running system, and hopefully I can do more broadcasting stuff with you guys and not really worry about it. That's really what I'm looking forward to. Is hey, since this programming class has started, I know I've done a lot less stuff with everybody, and I really want to get back to you. I'm falling behind in mixes so bad right now. Really, really bad. I feel bad. I don't owe anybody any mixes, but a lot of our kids' bands have had a lot of songs recorded, and I haven't had time to mix them. And it's been a long time. I really need to get going. I think they're actually going to have more stuff today, so I got to catch up. So yeah. Let's get back on that. And so I'll be broadcasting when I do that. I can't wait to do it on the new system. I can from the ones I got at home, but, that kind of sucks because of the whole routing thing and that we talk about constantly. Okay. All right. So another thing that we got going, and I don't really want to put pictures up because they're kind of not ready yet, but we have our dynamic EQ almost out. I mean, I'm actually running it on some test stuff that I'm doing right now, and we've got beta testers out there. Thank you guys out there who are beta testing it. Let me just tell you a little bit about it right now because people. I mean, obviously, we don't have the GUI down yet, and so people have had a little trouble running it. Let me get to my Reaper users group post. Sorry, it's going to take me 2 seconds here. Here we go. So I'm just going to get to a couple comments because Scott was trying it. So let me just tell you what this is about. Here's a picture. Put a little bit of picture. So this is not, obviously it's not done. It's missing the meters on the side. Let me me see if I can just pop this picture up. I don't want to. Oh, crap. There we go. Wow, why do you keep doing this to me? Stop it, Facebook. Shoot. Wow, that sucks. Okay, this thing just took up my whole screen and just broke everything. Oh, great. Let me pull that back up again. I'm so sorry about this. Okay. So I'll just read this to you. So the way this thing works, it's got 6 regular EQ bands, and that's got your regular things, your gain, frequency, and Q. And then, if you so desire, it's also a dynamic EQ. So you can turn on the dynamics function, and then from there you can choose between a compressor or upward expander or downward expander. And a lot of the downward expander stuff was actually things that I was going to add to the V2 version of multiband gate, but it really broke the paradigm. So it'll actually be done more in this one. It's not going to be quite the same as multiband gate, but if you do need these functions, it's going to be in this dynamic EQ. So when you turn this on, you've got your regular controls, your threshold, your ratio, your attack, and your release. But I've also added a hold control, and that's for a couple different reasons. First of all, de-essers. I've really never had that good luck with de-essers. You know, I always wanted them to just, if there was a way that I could have them stay kind of squished down there for a certain amount of time, at least like sometimes even like 50 milliseconds. You know, some of these S's that just crank on you. I wanted to be able to have an actual hold control for this. So we're going to do that. I'm not sure how the automation is actually going to work because that brings in some actually scary clicky poppy things, but we'll deal with that. But we've got a hold control, so you should have an easier time with de-essing with this now. Let me know if all that really needs to be automated, because we will work on that if so. But if you're in downward expander mode, I mean, you're pretty much running a noise gate. I mean, for 99% of the time. I know people want, sometimes they use it for other things, but you know, when you're on a downward expander, it's going to act like a gate. And so we got a hold control on there. And so it's going to, you know, hold it open for that time that you want, just like you would with the noise gate. And in the dynamic section, you have a choice to either listen to, for the detector source to either be the band that you're actually on, that EQ band, and it's going to follow your Q setting, your frequency and your Q setting to tell what the detector is listening to. Or you can choose input as your source, and in that case, you've got a high pass and a low pass filter that you can choose when you're in key listen mode. When you click key listen, it's just like our other products. You're just listening to what the detector's hearing. When you're in key listen mode and you've chosen input, actually I think it'll work on any of them, but the way it's supposed to work anyway, you choose the input, source input, hit key listen, and then you've got a high pass and low pass filter to really listen to exactly what it is that you want the detector listening to. And the other choice is going to be sidechain, and that's going to be your inputs 3 and 4 normally. And that, you know, you can listen to another channel or whatever you want to use for your sidechain source. So, like, you know, obviously, you know, if you want to open up a snare splat every time the snare channel hits, you know, you could do that with the sidechain. That will also have high pass and low pass filters available to choose exactly what frequencies you're listening to. And then aside from the six bands, you've also got a high pass and low pass filter for the EQ section that's separate from the key listen high pass and low pass. So that's what we're doing with dynamic EQ. And one thing that's really cool about this, and I really need to talk about this, but first of all, I need to get Facebook out of full screen mode. How do I do that? Oh boy. There we go. Okay, because that was scary. So I got something from Jim. I don't know why this didn't post to Restream. Oh, that's not good. Sorry, not Jim. Scott. Scott. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, what does... Oh. Back in the early days, we had 16-bit and 32-bit OSs and had limited IRQs, so we had to be careful about what hardware you used. Because often we had conflicts, for example, between the card and the audio interface. Man, it was... If you weren't around back then... It's kind of killing me that some of you guys weren't even born back when we were configuring these systems. Some of you guys listening now that are making digital audio workstations and, recording and everything, you weren't even born at this time. That kills me. Makes me feel really old. But today I was at the skate park and I was busting 180s out of the 6 foot, so I ain't that old, okay? But anyway, it was a nightmare trying to get these things working. Back then, I would record onto the D88s, for instance, and then when I was all done, I would hit record on all 24 channels in front of a song, and I'd clap my hands for a sync source. And then I would record 8 channels at a time into the computer, into Vegas, and I would record one tape at a time into Vegas, and then once they were all in there, I would... It's back in the day. They used little videotapes, that's how old we are. So then we would run... I'd take the clap, that sound that I made, lock the tapes together in 8-channel sections, or the recordings together, and then I'd slide the recordings around until the claps lined up. That's how we synced back then. No joke. All right? Because recording more than 8 channels at a time was pretty much terrifying. But now you guys have no idea how lucky you got it. Get off my lawn and back in my day. So what does Jim say about Samsung Evo versus a Crucial MX500 series SSD? I don't know. I showed him that I was going to get the Samsung, so hopefully that's the right one. I saw things about how different the speed were between some of these SSDs, but as far as I can tell, it's like the cars versus motorcycle thing. The slowest SSD drive... Oh, I'm sorry about the background noise. The slowest SSD drive is still going to be miles faster than the fastest mechanical drive, as far as I know. And like the way my laptops boot up, I don't even care. Maybe they're different in speed. I'm not recording to them because right now, actually, I don't think I need to. I've never really had a problem recording the mechanical drive, so... So the read-write performance is more stable over the long haul with the Crucial. Samsung speed apparently falls off as little as you get more writes. Ooh, that's scary. I recently got booted from a forum for explaining that you don't necessarily need bleeding-edge computers to record audio. Look, okay, once we got off of the D88s, and I think it was a Pentium 2 450, maybe. No. Okay, so this is probably the Pentium 4 days. I think it was the Pentium 4 was the first one. It was actually built the last time RME made the RME reference PC. It was exactly what they told me to buy, Asus motherboard. Oh, that's neat. So now it's an Asus again. Pentium 4, I forget what speed it was, but it was a Pentium 4. And we had the RME HDSP 9652s, and then I just started recording straight onto there, even if it was 20 tracks or so at a time. The worst computer you could get today from the last 5 years, and I'm talking probably even an i3, probably even a laptop, blows that computer away 80,000 times. I mean, it's not even remotely close. I mean, this would just annihilate the computers we had back then. And, well, first of all, don't kick Scott off your forum. That just makes you a meathead. Makes your forum all the dumber. But he's right. You get a computer, even the crappy, like they say, don't buy an HP, don't buy a Dell. Sorry, if you go to Best Buy right now and buy a crappy Hewlett Packard or Dell or whatever, and go stick an RME sound card on it, that thing is going to blow away the stuff I was using just 10 years ago, man. I mean, like, absolutely annihilate it. Yeah, all you should see is the Reaper screen. So, yeah, right now actually. But I will be pulling something else out right in a second. Yeah, you know what, Scott? I got to have you back on the show. I was trying to cold call people earlier today, and yeah, that was pretty funny. Anyway, yeah, I don't have too much to go today. Okay, but the other thing I want to say is thank you to all the beta testers. It's been hard to get beta testers. I know I keep talking about this on the show, but man, it's hard to get beta testers lately. You guys that you know who you are, the first few guys that actually were helpful with this. I asked for your emails. Don't let me forget. I'm going to be giving you guys free copies of this. And remember, we have a Discord, right? AIX DSP Discord. You can get to it from our website. Please join our Discord. We'd love to have you, everybody. If you make trouble, I'll kick you out. But, you know, I'm a free speech zealot, so I'm probably not going to be doing that. Okay. So if you guys remember when we were doing the Reaper Live test computer, that was like a rack mount computer. It had a rack. These 8-year-old kids would roll an rack across the street to run some computer on. That's a Core 2 quad. Hold on, let me kill somebody. Anyway, sorry. Had too much noise going on in the background. So our Reaper Live test system that little 8-year-olds could run was a Core 2 quad. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. You in the middle of?
Yeah. What?
Oh no. It's a long thing. So.
Oh, okay. It was a Core 2 quad, and so Scott's saying, I recently multi-tracked the band on my early generation Core 2 Duo with 3 gigabytes of DDR2 RAM. Running Windows 10 with my old EMU 1820M, I had to do a little hacking of the drivers, but it runs and records. Yeah, because when the Core 2 Duos came out, we were flying. I remember I got a Dell laptop with the Core 2 Duo, and it was screaming, man. I was out going around the country recording stuff with a KB37. So, yeah. Okay, and the last thing about this particular beta test here is this is our programmer Mark Langers. I think that's how he says it. I don't think I've ever actually talked to him on the phone or anything. We have a programmer we've had for a couple months now. How long have we had him? And this project, this dynamic EQ, is pretty much his first one. He's really, of course, Dave's been helping him every step of the way, but this is going to be his first real audio product, I think. And you know, let me digress a little bit. It used to be, you know, not to toot my own horn, but it used to be that I could get on a forum and I could say something about a product, not one of my products because I didn't have my company, but I could say something about a product and a good significant chunk of the DAW world, at least the online world, would go and take a look at it. That's how Reaper was done. Remember, Reaper was done without spending a penny in marketing, right? I used to have some weight. You know, I used to be able to get people to go out and check out things that I was talking about. Now, nobody gives a crap what I have to say. And, you know, it's just something you got to come to terms with. When I go to the skate park, they're not going, hey, it's a flying Hawaiian. You know, it's just like, oh, who's that old fat guy, you know? You know, and I'm slowly coming to terms with that. I am quickly becoming irrelevant, completely irrelevant to, you know, well, not that I was huge, but I had some pull, you know, and I just don't anymore. And so it's been hard to get beta testers. And what's really sad is I was going to say, you know, this can be Mark's first chance to get a plugin out in front of a lot of people. And in fact, hopefully it's going to be out in front of people that he used to read about in magazines, or if kids even read about in magazines anymore. He's kind of a young guy. So if it's going to get out in front of people that he's only heard about on YouTube or whatever, and they're going to be using his product. And that's got to be an awesome feeling. But, you know, had it been 10 years ago, it would have been in front of everybody. And now it's a lot harder, you know. So we actually, yeah, oh man, it's kind of a bummer. It's kind of humiliating. But I'm really, okay. First of all, I want you guys to, you know, let him know if he did a bad job. Actually, whatever he did wrong is probably stuff that I told him to do wrong. But I want you guys out there to really give him a pat on the back if you see him. That's Mark Langer. So this is really going to be his first product in front of people. And it's got to be an exciting thing. It's like a band putting out their first record, I don't know if this was ever his real dream to make audio plugins, but I think we got him from an audio programming course. So hopefully this is. I mean, this is the big leagues. This is when you release a plugin and everybody's going to be using it. That's like putting an album out and getting a platinum album. I mean, this really is the big league. So Mark, hopefully I was going to try and have him on the show actually this week, but hopefully I'll have him next week. Mark, when this thing comes out, you made it, man. I mean, this is just such an awesome thing. And I think you're still pretty young. So to have an accomplishment like this, this early on, it's awesome. This is just absolutely awesome. So give yourself a pat on the back. I hope everybody got 3 cheers from Mark out there. And this is going to be awesome to have out. And yeah, so Scott's saying, I love the early development of Reaper. Somebody would find a bug and it would be fixed often within hours. That's how we want to do this. I don't want to give up on this. Look, listen, my programmers are awesome. They're not Justin. Nobody's Justin but Justin. But they are very quick. So when you guys, okay, listen, everybody out there, when you guys tell us about something that you're having a problem with on our plugins and stuff, hopefully you've noticed that as quick as we can, we'll have a fix out if it's really of something we can fix. And at least know that even if I didn't acknowledge your problem, which I usually do, I try to acknowledge that I've heard the problem, because remember, where I got my start was on the other side of this. I was having problems with the existing programs that were out there. And I just wanted the company to acknowledge that they see that I'm having a problem. When you guys have a problem, I want to know about it. And this isn't like the regular company where they say, hey, tell me all your grievances and whatever, and it just goes in a deleted trash can or whatever. No, we build stuff because we're trying to make lives easier, and that's my thing. I made Reaper because I wanted to click less. I didn't want to switch tools every 5 seconds. I want the sound in my head to come out the speakers as quickly and easily as possible, and that's what we want to do with these plugins. So like especially like you guys all wanted some mouse modifiers. You're gonna get them. There's gonna be a Q modifier, constrain vertical, constrain horizontal. That's all coming hopefully next build. So yeah. And for the very last thing here, I don't want to can't spend too much time. Actually, I got to go help out in the big room. In fact, let's see what's going on in the big room. Can I click in there? Let's see if this actually shows. So let's hope we don't see something horrifying. Nope, that didn't work. New drum webcam. Oh, yeah, it's pointing down at somebody's desk. No, that's my desk. That's not the new drum webcam. Where is the drum webcam? I have no idea where the new webcam went. That sucks. Puck cam? No, that's not it. New drum webcam. No, that's not it. Yeah, sorry, I guess I don't have a drum webcam anymore. That sucks. Anyway, so I got to go out there and help with that in a second. But the last thing I really want to do, and this kind of plays into what we were just talking about, what I want to do is make sure I had audio coming in and out of Messenger. And it's a little bit harder to do than Zoom than where you have the hold on, let's see.
How are you doing?
Okay. It's a little hard. It's a little harder to do on Zoom where you can actually pick your audio input and output. So what I did is I just picked Microsoft Edge, and I thought, I'll just change the microphone coming in and the speaker going out, and then I couldn't find a way to change which audio device Edge was using. I did actually find out that there's a way in Windows, but here's somebody actually asked the question, how do I pick which speaker the audio is going to come out of on Microsoft Edge. And if you've ever had the misfortune of being on the answers.microsoft.com, which is, I think, Microsoft's official forum, and had the extreme misfortune of having one of Microsoft's own employees write back to you. And this really sucks because Vin had on his show, I think it's called the Daw Bench podcast, he had one of Microsoft's audio guys on, and he was awesome, absolutely kick-ass. But the guys that you usually get in the Microsoft forums are horrific. And so here's the question. How do I choose which speaker the audio is going to come out of on using the Microsoft Edge browser? And so here we get, I'm not going to say his name, independent advisor. Hi, Tony. I'm blah, blah, an installation specialist, 10 years awarded Microsoft MVP and volunteer moderator, here to help you. So I guess this guy doesn't even work for Microsoft, but he's just as bad as one of the coders you usually hear from. I think they usually come from India or whatever. Whatever, guys, don't get on me about that. That's where they're coming from. They're hiring people that don't really speak the language and they don't really understand what's being asked, wherever they're coming from. And it's a problem. But anyway, so this guy's really, I think he's just a guest mod, which makes me feel a little bit bad for picking on him, but too bad. Listen, that's not the question I was asked. See, I'm a volunteer moderator here to help you. See how to control volume on apps in the section titled How to Manage Advanced Windows Sound Options Using Settings. Now, that actually works. If you go there, okay, it doesn't work off the bat, but it does kind of work. If that isn't enough, I'll give you the possible solutions for sound problems in order of priority. So please try any you've already tried, whatever. That's not the question. The question isn't a sound problem. He wants to know how to set the speaker. 1. Update the sound driver from the PC or device maker's support downloads webpage for your exact model. We've had these talks about, RTFMing and let me Google that for you and just the real schmucky answers people can get. I don't think this guy means to be a schmuck, but listen, usually when you tell people to update their drivers, that's just like, did you try turning it off and turning it back on? Actually, sometimes it works. Yes, we all know it. So forget that caveat. But telling people to update their drivers, don't do it. Just say, I assumed you already updated your drivers are up to date. But listen, lots of times you don't want to update your drivers. That's a whole nother talk. Restore the troubleshooter. Windows Audio Service with the troubleshooter, whatever. Try these. How to fix sound problems as it goes to a fix sound problems in Windows 10. Check your speaker output. Well, that's what we want to do. Run the troubleshooter. Verify that Windows updates are installed. Check your cables. Check your sound settings. Fix your audio drivers. Set your audio device as the default device, which is no. We want to know, how do you pick the speaker output for Edge? Also, reset the prompt to ask for which device was plugged in. No, it's none of those. Right-click the system volume. Choose a troubleshooter. Run the playing sound troubleshooter. Roll back the sound drivers, uninstall the sound drivers you have presently. All this crap, it's not helpful. That's the question we got to answer, is the question that they asked, okay? So lots of times when you get a question, try and answer that question first. I mean, tech support guys, look, I want to provide the very best tech support we possibly can. And you guys may know that I'm not that I'm paid for it or anything else, but I do actually handle voluntarily and not officially, and many times not even asked, many times actually discouraged by the companies in question. But how much tech support did I handle for Positive Grid, for bias amp, bias effects, all that stuff? I hope you guys found me useful over there. Reaper, obviously. Right? I get back to you right away with Reaper problems. I hope I do. For our company, I really try and do the same thing as I did when I was doing it for Reaper. And not that I ever stopped doing it for Reaper, but, it's not official anymore. But that's the kind of tech support I want to provide. You got a problem? Let me know about it. You got a suggestion? Let me know about it. You can find me on the Discord. You guys know you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on YouTube. You can email me, pipelineaudio@aixdsp.com. you guys know how to get a hold of me. Get a hold of me on the Reaper forum. Get a hold of me on the gear page. Ultimate Guitar, wherever you find me, 7string.org, wherever. Just get a hold of me. I want to fix your problem. So let me know. I'm going to go home because hopefully I actually have some food. I'm hungry as hell as at the skate park. And I will be talking to you guys next week. See you later.